Hello budget people and welcome to my channel. My name is She's on a Budget and today we are back for another video. In this video I'll be finally closing down my budget for the month of June. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in watching, stay tuned. Okay guys, so welcome back to the channel. I do hope you are all well. And yes, I have got my voice back. As you can hear, it does sound slightly different. It is quite hoarse still, so I'm not going to talk, well, I'm going to try not to talk too much. But yeah, I am back, guys, hopefully permanently. I have been off sick from work for the last 2 weeks, and it has been a horrible time. But we will go into it another time. I just want to get this budget finally closed down. It's been kind of weighing over my head. It was one of the videos that I was meant to film the day that I lost my voice. So yeah, a couple of weeks behind, but anyway, better late than never. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is close down the last 2 weeks of the month. So the last time I did a weekly check-in, it ran from the 9th of June until the 15th. So I'm just going to close it down. So I'm going to go from the 16th until the 30th. I do need that information in order for me to close down my overall monthly budget. So I'm going to do those things first. I'm going to lay down my expense stickers. So this is like 2 weeks worth of expense stickers as well. First thing that I'm going to put down is my grocery spend. And I have to say, guys, the last 2 weeks of the month, I really did come in strong with my groceries. You know, it was pennies over, but I'm not mad at it at all, to be honest. I'm really impressed that I managed to stay within budget. And then household, we stuck to the £10 limit that I kind of put on for household. I still get questions about my household budget, like what is household, how is it different to groceries? Why don't I just, put all of it towards groceries? But my household budget is for anything that is non-food based, so cleaning products, toiletries, all of those things kind of come under household. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Okay, and then onto my fuel. I had to use some different expense stickers, guys, because I ran out of the ones that I cut for this month, and literally just use something that I had spare left over from another month. I wasn't going to cut like a whole sticker sheet just for 2 stickers. So yeah, I had fuel. I spent £20 worth of fuel on the 17th, and then my last sticker for this week is utilities, which was on the 16th as well. So that is £20. But I do prefer like the customized look as opposed to writing them down. Just my preference. I'm not super in love with my handwriting, guys. So those are all of my stickers for week 1. As you can see, we did fairly well, stayed within budgets. Really chuffed about that. For week 2, my grocery spend was more or less the same, guys. It was more or less the same. I spent £50.33. This goes on the 22nd. So yeah, again, I'm just so happy I was able to rein it in the last couple of weeks. I also spent the £10 budget for household, which goes on top of this sticker, and that goes there. And then in terms of fuel, again, I just spent my regular £20. This was the day that I actually lost my voice, and I was sent home from work. So I had to stop, unfortunately, to put some fuel in the car. That was an experience in itself. And the money that I put into the car that day, I think I still have it, guys, in the car, because I haven't been anywhere as you'd expect for so long. I still think I'm running on the fuel that I put in the car that day. It's crazy. Okay, and then the last sticker I have is my utility sticker, and I had to put £40 in, or on the key, should I say. And the reason behind that is at the beginning of the month, I told you I had a large amount of credit on my gas meter. Well, that ran out. So I had to put some money on for that. But to be honest, it lasted like the whole month, you know, which I was super impressed by. And it gives me an idea of how much I need to budget now for next month. So yeah, I put £20 on the gas key, and then I put my regular like £20 for my electric. But yeah, that is all done. Moving on to my weekly check-in for the last 2 weeks of the month. As you can see, I've put down the amounts that I put into my envelopes on those respective weeks. I know I didn't film my regular cash envelope stuffing video for the last week of the month, but I still stuffed my envelopes. So yeah, these were the amounts I had in my envelopes for those weeks. And for week 3, I put £50 in for groceries. I spent £50.35. Which means that I was obviously over by 35 pence, which again, I'm not mad at, guys. You can see the last 2 weeks, we were way over. So we reined it in quite nicely. Household, I put in £10 and I spent 10. So we don't have anything left over for that week for household. Fuel, I put £20 in and I spent 20. And then utilities, I put £20 in and I also spent 20. All in all, for week 3, we were over budget by 35 pence, and I'm going to put it in there. Obviously, I do not have any money that I put towards like an unbudgeted category. If I am over budget for any reason at the end of the week, I take that money from my emergency fund with the view to put it back at the end of the month. So that's that for week 3. And then for week 4, groceries, I had £50 at the beginning of that week and we spent £50.33. Household, I had £10 at the beginning of the week and I spent the 10. For fuel, we had £20 and I spent 20. And utilities, we had £20, but I spent £40 that week. So we were over budget by £20 for our utilities. Fuel, we were fine. Same for household. Slightly over for our groceries, but yeah, not mad at that at all. I don't know why I drew a line here, but I do need to put down the amount I was over budget by. So we were over budget by £20.33. So yeah, as you can see, guys, we've gone over budget every week this month in one way or another. I do have this question from time to time. Why don't you just increase your grocery budget, or why don't you increase your fuel budget? The reason behind that is, yes, in terms of fuel and obviously utilities, those are kind of things that I know I have no control over. We are going to use what we're going to use. I'm not the type of person to be really frugal in those areas. If we need to put the heating on, I'd put the heating on, etc, etc. But in terms of my grocery budget, I know how good I am being, and I know how restrictive I am being. If I knew I was being A1 with my grocery budget, like planning my meals out to a T like I used to do, then yes, I would by now have increased my grocery budget. But I know I'm not doing that. And if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I increased my grocery budget after lockdown. And during lockdown, we were in the house every day. We're not in the house every day now, but we're still over budget. So it's down to me now, I think, before I increase it, to really look at the tools and use those tools that I was using before I increase it. So yes, I may have to go over budget a few times to learn the lessons that I need to in order to get that under control, but I definitely will get there. It's a new month now, and yeah, my goal is definitely to try to rein in my spend on groceries. So the last thing I'm going to do is run through the closing down of my overall monthly budget and give a total as to how much money I have left over to take into July. I've already put down my actual figures for most things. So I've taken this information from all of my weekly budgets and obviously my weekly check-ins. And in terms of my income this month, I had my regular money from my teacher salary. I also had some money from my variable income, so housekeeping for my son, Etsy, I take a small stipend from my Etsy business, not a lot of money at all, but just something to say that I've obviously paid myself for the work that I do in the shop. And then the money that I rolled over from last month, so from May, was what was added to all of those amounts. So I'm just going to add these up and give a total for income. And that is 2679.21. So obviously it's the same amount that I predicted. And in terms of my fixed expenses, these are all the fixed amounts that I paid for these bills. These are like my direct debit, so to speak. So in total for fixed expenses, we had £1,860 coming out for those. And then over to my variable expenses. So this is the information that I've taken just from the weekly check-in page that I've just showed you. Household, we stayed within budget all month, so we had no variance for that, which is great. My grocery budget though, we did go over by £21.52. My fuel budget, we went over at the beginning of the month by £20. And then utilities, we were over by £20 at the end of the month. But yeah, I mean, I will take this information and use it to help me to adjust my budget for July, which if you've seen that video already, you'd have seen that I have increased some of these categories. But yeah, guys, we definitely had a big month in terms of variable spending. So I do need to keep an eye on those expenses over the next few months for sure. I'm going to do a total for my actual amount. And we've got 461.52, which is a 61.52 increase on the amount that we were meant to have. So when you kind of look at it this way, guys, we are way over budget. Like £60 over budget is a lot of money. I'm lucky enough to have a buffer, so to speak, at the end of each month. I'm able to pay back the money into my emergency fund straight away. I suppose it would be a different story if I wasn't able to do that. But yeah, luckily I do have a buffer, so it is eating into that, but we are still able to survive, thank God. So then coming to my breakdown now. So my income was as predicted, so 2679.21. And then in terms of outgoings, we have the 461.52, add the 1860, which is 2321.52. So let's see how much money we have to move over into July. And we're left with £357.69. And yeah, if you've seen July's budget already, you'll know that I have added some money to this amount that we have left over. I've made it back up to the 420 that I predicted, with some money from my emergency fund to cover my variable expenses for the month. And yeah, that's all done. Okay guys, so that is all done for now. I mean, I can come in now and tick the enormous amount of expense stickers, utility stickers, grocery stickers, all of the above. All of my bills have been paid for June, thankfully. The last thing I'm going to do now is come in and lay down my no spend stickers. Okay, and that is all done. We have 27 days out of 30 that we have a no spend sticker on, which I'm not mad at, guys. The last 2 weeks have been horrendous. So to be able to come in and be able to lay down any no spend stickers over the last 2 weeks, I feel like I've really tried to keep a lid on things despite being sick. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for all the help that I've had from my family and friends to get me through the last couple of weeks. But yeah, June is finally closed down. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do not forget to give me a big thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you are kept up to date with all of my future videos, guys. And I hopefully will speak to you in the next video. Fingers crossed I still have my voice. All the best. Speak to you soon. Bye.